Cape Town celebrity chef and TV presenter Siba Mtongana stole the show at the prestigious Luxe Restaurant Awards. The international multi-award-winning culinary extraordinaire, author and entrepreneur won the coveted Best Hotel Restaurant and Excellence Award. Siba Mtongana joins me now. Siba, great to speak to you this afternoon. Congratulations on your recent wins at the Luxe Restaurant Awards. How does it all feel to receive yet another cap in another feather in your cap, rather?
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Hugo. It feels incredible. This is our third award in 1 month. We got recognition from the UK, from the Luxe Restaurant and Bar Awards for the most exclusive fine dining restaurant in Cape Town. So these 2 extra awards from a local agency that, gives awards to people in the hospitality and culinary space came as such a great surprise. And it comes welcomed because everybody knows how hard it is to run a restaurant.
So let's talk about exclusive fine dining. What does it all mean?
I think what it means is that people have seen the kind of excellence we've put in the award in order to curate and create a special ambience, a special beautiful menu for discerning clients. So we definitely are that space. It also means that, we are not necessarily your casual Joe where you can just eat your breakfast, etc. But rather a place where you want to celebrate, a place where you want to go to if you want to treat yourself. So Siba the restaurant definitely is that spot.
So talk to us about the concept and inspiration behind Siba the restaurant. I mean, let's go back a few years ago when we were watching you on television and in your remarkable cooking shows to this place now where you have your own special establishment. Was this all part of the plan?
This was always part of the plan, but with any establishment that comes to life, it always starts in the mind. And for me, this definitely started in the mind from a vision point of view, which we had to put in place from a birthing point of view. And we'd always earmarked that 2020 would be the year of the grand Siba restaurant opening. But alas, we all know what happened with 2020, COVID hit. And it was really a hard time for us because it meant that went along side with 2020 and COVID, our dreams and aspirations for building a beautiful restaurant that we wanted to have. Initially, we were going to open in Johannesburg, but because of the circumstances around that, I thought I should rather push on and carry on pushing my dreams and aspirations and putting them to birth. And therefore, I started Siba the restaurant as a pop-up at the Table Bay Hotel at the V&A waterfront in Cape Town. And it was a 5-month time period that I tried it because I wasn't sure whether the market, especially during COVID, would catch to it because of the restrictions we were under at the time. But it was superbly well received, which, I was very excited about, especially the fact that we started in Cape Town in comparison to Johannesburg, which was our initial market we wanted to kick the restaurant business in. And it took off. And now we are, since October the 29th of 2020, we closed the pop-up for a short period of time, and we will reopen it on the 29th of October as a permanent restaurant. If it wasn't for the, people who really gave me the support in that pop-up, I would never have had the courage to be able to open this as a full-time restaurant. And I'm grateful, to everyone from landlords who thought I was completely crazy when I wanted to open up this restaurant and run it on a full-time basis, to my team who keep on keeping on, as well as my business partners who are just there and very much supportive when it comes to ensuring that we are what we are today.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your team. The feather is in your cap, but you've expressed great appreciation for your team and all the hard work that they've done. How important is this team to your success?
The team is definitely such an incredible, important part and parcel of the vision because they're the ones that buy into the vision. Every restaurant needs a front of house. Every restaurant needs a back of house. That is the waiters, which we call ambassadors, our service ambassadors, to your general manager, to your manager, to, all the different facets that make up your front of house, as well as your back of house, which are your chefs and everyone else. But all that comes together because you have created the vision and you put structures together to ensure that the necessary training is given to all the different teams. And for me, I think back of house is quite key because that's where the product lives. Back of house would be the chefs, would be our runners and everyone else who does the back end work. Because that's where the invisibility happens. That's where people don't necessarily always see the hard work that goes into it. That's where I am with my team majority of my time, and I train them and to ensure that they're able to replicate some of the stuff so that when I'm not in the restaurant and I'm traveling, for instance, I was filming the Great South African Bake Off as one of their judges. I was away for 6 weeks and were able to keep the fort without me. Now I'm back. They are the ones who are able to take the vision forward, whether you are there or not, as the owner of the business, which is very incredible. And I think it's very important to have the right team because without the right team, then you can't be able to execute what you want, or whether you are there or not, because it means you'll have to micromanage all the time, which any employer dreads to do that because it means all the resources are given to that instead of you sitting at the helm and doing strategic work, which is so needed for any business.
Now, you raise an incredible point, which is the team is able, in fact, the experience is Siba-like, even if you are not there. And I think that's super important, particularly for entrepreneurs in this business. Now, as a culinary icon, what advice do you give for aspiring chefs or restaurateurs who are looking to make their mark in the industry and achieve similar success as yours?
I would say that, knowledge is key. For this industry, you definitely need to guard and gear yourself with knowledge in ensuring that you are well knowledgeable of what is food safety standards. When should there ever be a person from the Department of Health that comes to ensure that your restaurant is fine, you should not be found wanting in any shape or form. So, you need to understand the different facets of running a restaurant are. You need to understand, if, for instance, there's issues with, and this is lived experience, that there'll be times where I didn't quite, in the early stages, didn't quite have the right team, and where some would not make it to work for different reasons. And you need to be able to know what the solution is for that. Whether the solution is you jump in as the owner, especially in the beginning stages, and we're able to bring that solution and to understand what food is. You also, I always say there's a difference with being a chef, which means cooking beautiful food and curating beautiful menus, etc., to being the person who executes it on a daily basis. And if you are the person who executes it on the daily basis, you need to be able to understand that a kitchen is different. My home kitchen is different from a commercial kitchen, and there are standards in which need to be kept if you are cooking for people, because there's a certain level of responsibility which we need to take from a health and safety perspective. So any chef that's going into the industry needs to understand that. But there is the bigger aspect which now takes you to entrepreneurship, which is being a restaurateur, which means you have to understand the business of restaurants holistically. You must be able to have the agility to change menus when needs be. When you see that this menu is not moving, you must have the agility to do everything necessary to ensure that your business survives, because it is a highly contested space and a highly competitive space, and therefore you need to ensure that you are competitive at every level. I think also what people often don't understand is that being a restaurateur is a hard business, because the restaurants can be quite a vulnerable entities, in a sense that you have clients on a daily basis and you have to be perfect each time. And if you aren't, you have to be able to accept that, okay, today we didn't actually meet the mark, and therefore we have to up our service to make sure that our guests feel heard when they're not happy about food being maybe a little bit too salty or whatever the issue may be on the ground.
Siba,
that they're able to come back.
As you'd probably do in the bake-off, you would set a timer and give the contestant 60 seconds. I'm giving you 60 seconds now. The timer is on. Beyond the awards and accolades, what brings you the most joy and fulfillment in your career as a chef and restaurateur?
Service. Service brings me the most joy. I love serving people. I love ensuring that people leave our establishment being very happy. So I think getting the Best Service Award from the Luxe Award has really been incredible for us.
Siba, appreciate your time, and once again, congratulations on those awards.